Next time you should try the veal and treat yourself. Order extra bacon and treat yourself. Hey, 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 hey. Just treat yourself.
I say, treat yourself.
Art is important. This is not an opinion. This is an irrefutable fact. Anything that moves you, inspires you, makes your day a little less miserable, then it's worth having on the walls of your home. And if you don't take my word for it, then here's someone far more eloquent than I could ever hope to be, Jordan Peterson, the famous author and psychology professor at the University of Toronto, on why you need art in your life.
Buy a damn piece of art, you know? Find one that really speaks to you and buy a piece of art because you invite that into your life, and it's a look out if you do it. If it's a real piece of art, because you'll also get a little introduction to the artist, and then that'll seep into your life, and that'll change things like mad. But it's unbelievably worth it. We live by beauty, we live by literature, we live by art, and literally, not metaphorically. We cannot live without it, because life is too dismal and tragic in the absence of the sublime.
Yeah, I know. A lot of PC babies hate that guy. And that was kind of heady, but I make no apologies. I fuck with Jordan Peterson, and what he said is right. And it's why I believe in treating yourself to buying a painting or a print or a photograph that when you see it, you just know you have to have it. And the best part is, you don't have to break the bank to buy something that you love. From Etsy to Art.com to popping into the Boston Center for Adult Education. If you see something and you want that something, as long as you can afford it, and maybe even if you can't, you should buy it if you know it's going to make you happy when you see it hanging in your home. I also think it's an added bonus if you're supporting a local artist, because when one buys from a local artist, you're not just helping the artists themselves make a living from something that they love doing, you're also supporting the arts as a whole by going local. Which leads me to one such local artist whose work I can't recommend to you enough, especially if you're a music fan. And that artist is my friend and one-time co-worker, Julie Kramer. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Julie may be best known as the revered on-air personality for WFNX's Leftover Lunch. Recently, after decades hidden away, Julie unearthed and unveiled the Basement Archives. It was a treasure trove of photos that she had taken in the past of some of the most famous musicians in the history of modern rock. Actually, you know what? It's a better story than that. So I'm going to let Julie tell it.
So the Basement Archives comes out of the fact that my boyfriend Jimmy was cleaning the basement and he came upon some boxes, and as he was pulling out the photographs, he was like, holy shit, what is all this? And I said, remember I told you I was a photographer? And he's like, you're kidding, right? So it's Chili Peppers and Lou Reed and Chris Isaak and Mike Ness and all portraits, Evan Dando and Joe Strummer and you name it. Anyone who came to WFNX, I documented them. So back in the day, when I was working at WFNX, I was also taking pictures. I was working part-time as a photographer and part-time as a disc jockey and combined both of those things. So the Basement Archives is him literally finding all these archives saying, I'm doing something with this, whether you're into it or not. And eventually I jumped on and we're doing it.
I always knew Julie had taken photos here and there when I was working with her, but when I attended her exhibition a few months ago, I had to pick my mouth up from the floor. The amount of photos that she took, how young and beautiful some of these musicians looked in these portraits, it was stunning. And I had to have one. Or perhaps more accurately, my girl needed to have one, of Mike Ness from Social Distortion, because she's obsessed with that band and would leave me for Mike Ness in a second. But hey, can you blame her? I mean, look how damn handsome he was backstage here at the Orpheum in the early 90s. Seriously, if you're a fan of any of these bands from that era that got played on WFNX, you gotta treat yourself to one of these portraits. Here's Julie with more on how you'd go about doing just that.
The best thing to do is go to juliekramer.com, see what photo you like, and then email me. There are certain sizes and prices there, but if you go to juliekramer.com and you're like, you know what, there's a multi of John Lydon, but I only like one picture out of that multi and it's not shown, just email me. Or I need a random size to fit this wall. Again, it's pretty easy. I'm printing everything myself, renting darkroom space. You can just reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to hook you up.
And so concludes episode 3 of Treat Yourself. I told you, it's not just going to be about food and restaurants and that kind of stuff on here. If you like this episode, of course, there's going to be more to come in the future. And if you could be so kind, please send the link to any of your friends who might be interested in checking out this episode and share it on your socials. Until next time, this is Jim Murray reminding you life's too short, people, so treat yourself.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Good, because I know that was probably painful for some of you. Art? What the hell do I care about art? Maria's my keys falling into my crotch. So as a token of appreciation that you've been watching these so far, and I really do appreciate it, believe me, I'm going to hook a few of you up with some extra gift cards that I have. Just email me here. Send me a couple of notes, let me know what you think of the show. It can just be hi, but make sure your address is on there, and I'll surprise a few of you with some gift cards. It's that simple, so you can go out and treat yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching.